Well, despite some opposition due to the Israel-Hamas war, Israel's flag will be raised outside of City Hall today.
The request to fly the flag was made by the Consulate General of Israel, that is, in Toronto, to recognize the country's Independence Day. The flag has been flown at City Hall in the past. The city says safety precautions are being taken, and police will work with security personnel to monitor this situation in Nathan Phillips Square and within City Hall itself. A similar event at City Hall over in Ottawa has been changed to a private event, citing unspecified security concerns.
So let's talk more about this right now. We're joined live by former Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders. Mark, appreciate your time coming in this morning to talk about this. This is an event that happens every single year on the Israeli Independence Day. But this year, of course, it's charged. There are heightened tensions, etc. What do you make of this? Is, of course, is a city staff decision to allow this to go ahead. What are your thoughts on the security here and just the fact that it is taking place with the war looming or taking place in the Middle East?
Well, it's safe to say the world has been a little bit different since October the 7th. And here we have protests almost on a daily basis across all of the major cities in North America, if not around the world. You're right. Normally it would be just a flag raising. But of course, because it is Israel's flag going up, there will be an anticipation, obviously, of some sort of protest with respect to that. And making sure that City Hall and their staff work in conjunction with law enforcement is going to be key and critical, because you want it to be a safe event. And you'll do whatever you need to do to make sure that safety comes first to people that have the lawful right to come down and watch the flag being raised.
What kind of role could Toronto Police play in this? It sounds as though it would be more of a lead from security at City Hall, but what kind of role could officers play in ensuring there is safety and this goes forward for those?
Well, it's a hand-in-glove relationship. And first, it depends on the type of intelligence that they have that determines the number of people that will be coming, whether or not there's a large number coming with bad intentions and what kind of intentions that would be there, and then making sure the proper resources are put in place or close by, so that if something happens, they have the ability of rolling up or collapsing the resources as necessary. You don't want it to be a security event. You want to make sure that, you know, we're in Toronto, we're in a democratic country. We want to make sure that people should feel comfortable to be there and to celebrate. However, if it does turn, the ability of making sure that people are kept safe is of the utmost importance for law enforcement.
I wonder if I can touch on the political side of this with you too, Mark, because this time last year you were sitting on the couch here as a mayoral candidate.
Yes.
Olivia Chow, of course, ended up winning that race here. Do you think she should be there, and what do you expect to see from council today at this event?
Well, let's take the Jewish community. And year after year in the city of Toronto, whether we like it or not, when it comes to the hate crime reports, the Jewish community have always been in the top 3. So if there's any community in our city that would need that support, it certainly would be the Jewish community, and especially now. The second piece to that, too, is it sends a message to the protesters. Like consider it. If there's no show of the mayor, then that would be taken as keep going, job well done. You have impact and influence on people that have powerful decisions when it comes to how the city should be run.
I also want to touch on a similar flag raising taking place in Ottawa. This was another story we were following because they announced it was happening and then it was canceled. Now it's a private event. Is that something that the city of Toronto would also be looking at to decide going forward on how we would approach this flag raising? What do you think?
Well, I certainly can't answer that. What people are looking for is leadership. It's hard to sit on the fence when you have these types of environments. And you want to make sure that everybody behaves, first and foremost. People don't want to get injured, but these types of protests and these types of decision-making add more chaos to the already chaotic state that things are in right now. So strong leadership sends a strong message, and things trickle down from there when you have that strong type of leadership.
Mark, can I just get one last thing from you? This is completely unrelated, but former fire chief or outgoing fire chief Matthew Pegg is going to be right where you are to talk about his career ending. You worked very closely together with him. I wonder your thoughts on Toronto losing Chief Pegg coming up.
You know, Chief Pegg was a fantastic chief. Well, still is a fantastic chief. And I had the privilege of working with him. And there are a couple of things that I liked about Chief Pegg. Number one, how he handled the pandemic, COVID. And really had to put a lot of his own personal time and change the structure of family dynamics and having to live downtown anyway. But the second piece, too, We had a horrible day when we had the van attack. And if there's ever a day where we knew that police and fire have to have a very strong, harmonious working relationship, that was a day that really defined that. And under the leadership of Chief Pegg, again, second to none, the city's going to miss him, and he did a fantastic job.
I was even saying to Nick, he's been very vulnerable talking about mental health and, speaking with a psychologist. And I think that's such an important conversation to see in someone in a position of his, too. So really encouraging to see that as well.
Absolutely. Very genuine.
Mark Saunders, thanks for your time this morning. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.